In Calvin's contract to take the town truck back and forth to home, why are we supplying him with a truck?
We can't discuss that one.
Can't discuss it.
It's, we can't. Personnel issue.
Wouldn't that be a town
Maggie,
issue?
Ain't this a town? What happened to us being a town?
It's a personnel issue and we can't discuss it.
Basically what you're saying, what you're asking, is directed at a potential complaint against an employee in, because of what you're asking. So we're governed by statute, by law, that we can't discuss personnel matters of any shape or form in a public forum. That's why we have to go into executive session and discuss those matters. That's the best explanation I can give you on
So
that.
is that something that
If it relates to a budget, can you provide explanation? Say something looks like it's gone wacky with a budget that was voted on at a town meeting, now that budget's been shot all to hell. Is that something you can address, or does that become personnel matter too?
I would say if we had financial documents in front of us to back it up, we could probably discuss it, as long as it wasn't directed at a specific individual.
So, Maggie, can I get an answer on that from, what are we gonna do? I mean, if we disagree with that, where do we go from there?
If my truck breaks down, I'm a Dixfield town payer. Can I come up and borrow the truck? He doesn't pay Dixfield town taxes.
We can't, no comment, discuss that.
So there's no way that we can disagree with that,
Just really want
but it's tough shit.
Yes, Chief.
I think what might help here, and I don't know, but in that particular issue, where it's potentially dealing with, as Chief Daly said, there's a situation dealing with a person that works for the town. I think how he could do that would be like if someone has a complaint against one of my officers, to come in and to lodge a complaint, so that then gets on your table, and then it can be addressed, and then if there's any comment to be made afterwards, it becomes public to them to comment. I don't know if that makes sense, but to me, I would say that's probably the remedy for his situation.
So that complaint would have to go to the town manager because he is
The process would be this: if a complaint was lodged against any specific employee of the town, personnel matter, it would be addressed by whomever the supervisor or the governing head was over that person. If a decision was made of any sort, I'm just saying hypothetically, if a decision was made and it rendered any kind of disciplinary action, then the end result of that disciplinary action can be made public. That's it. Nothing else can be made public.
So where do we make that complaint?
To the town manager.
Put it in, put it in.
She's not here now. So who do I talk to when she's not here? You?
You put it in writing and bring it to the town office, give it to the girls in the office. From there, it'll be taken.
Okay.
Yeah.
The town policy is that if you have a complaint, you need to go to the department head, and if you're not satisfied with your complaint, then you take it to the town manager.
Can I go see him?
We already did.
But, I mean, well, and then if it's, you're not satisfied with what the town manager says, you have the right to come before the board and make your complaint. That's the process.
But if the town manager's not here now, is she working?
It would go through me.
Okay.
It would come to the board. It would go to me first, but I believe that I can't make any comments on that.
I know I've brought this up several times before, but time is coming. We're only 4 months away from the next town meeting, and I think you know what I'm bringing up. the June vote, where we asked the townspeople whether they wanted to vote on budget matters at the ballot, the polling that takes place in June down at the American Legion. The majority said yes. But we don't seem to have any inkling of whether you've decided whether to follow this process through, just give it up. I mean, it kind of wastes the voice of the people if we just simply give it up. I think the voice of the people has said, let's do it.
The consensus of the board was to go with a ballot type vote.
Yeah.
Well, in the interest of the people becoming aware of it, I would suggest a town hearing and hashed over with the townspeople who are interested in this kind of thing, and quite a few actually placed a vote on it, so I would think you'd have a fairly good turnout, and hash it over with them to get the details down and get people aware that this is coming up, or we're gonna get into a state of confusion when the time comes. I don't know what you think of that, but I think a conversation with the people in town is in order. So something like this. This is kind of a different undertaking than everything
On
else.
the town, on a special town.
You know, and I would think you would want to do it, you know,
Discuss.
fairly soon because it is coming up. You know, and you may have different ideas of what people have on how to conduct this. You know, my idea is we'll have the town meeting like we always have. We just won't produce any voting on the budget items then. We'll just allow you to, and the department heads, to explain why the budgets are what they are to the people who want to hear that. And then from there, the actual voting will take place in secret ballot at the Legion. You know, but I think that's something we can work out with the
The point you're making,
people.
though, is also that you're saying that the public should be notified in advance and have a chance.
Exactly, because if you get to a point of confusion, you guys, they're gonna come back at you and say, how come we never heard about this? What is this voting
good
taking place here?
It is a good point.
We have
You don't wanna
discussed
put-
it extensively here.
Huh?
We did discuss it extensively here.
Yeah, but this isn't a public hearing, this is a select board meeting. I'm talking about a public hearing.
Session for a special town meeting to discuss that. Like that.
It's something we can set up, yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess what I'm asking is, do you think it can happen?
It's gonna happen.
And do you think you can give us a rough date of when it's gonna happen?
I
Because
think
I've
we
asked
can-
that every
we-
time
We can do
too.
both.
Okay,
I'm sure probably.
can you do it right now, or does it have to be tabled?
At the moment, no.
Okay.
We can tell you that we'll set a special meeting. Just don't know the exact date yet, but before the town meeting, so that the public would be advised.
Okay, so is this an agenda item for next select board
I
meeting?
think he just wrote it down.
Okay. No, I just, you know, it's hard to nail you guys down sometimes to get anything done when the people ask you to do it.
Anybody else? Yes. Can you tell me, give me a figure on how much we're gonna be saving the town of Dixfield for sending our water billing out of town?
We had that number.
I believe it was $10,000. Per year.
$10,000 a year
3 years, in 3 years.
in 3 years.
Is that going to include the costs of them getting our program? And, because the Mexico, they don't have the same billing program as what we have, correct? So, when they have, are we paying for that? Or is that included in that figure?
Contract is all gonna be
Huh,
the contract fee.
It was all encompassing.
okay.
Was that 10,000 per year?
It's supposed to be per year.
Every year going forward, it's gonna be $10,000 to
Same.
outsource.
Something that I wanted clarification on too, if you wanna turn the paper over, or I'll write it myself. When we're due to do upgrades and ask for increases with PUC and the water, nobody has done with records of where the expenses came from and why we're asking for it, to my knowledge. Something that was never clarified in that whole system was the fact that if we have in-house people doing it that are already paid by the executive department, how are we gonna know how to bill or to what to ask for a PUC rate increase when if we aren't doing separate billing when the office ladies are working on water or sewer? I mean, I'd like to know how that is gonna be separated. So when we go to ask for the increase, we have verification that they're gonna ask for. Because to this point, nobody's really discussed that. It's just a matter of farming out the billing and the discussions of any other work that'll be determined for those departments will be done in-house. So that was something that I meant to ask in the past, but to this point, I wanna know what we're gonna do in order to verify to, so we have paperwork in-house when we need our justification for increase in PUC.
If I could ask a question in relation to that question you're asking. Lately, I get the impression that people feel like this stuff doesn't matter anymore, that goes to water. That doesn't matter anymore, it goes to sewer. And I caution the town not to look at it that way, because I think that the town should retain and maintain a working knowledge of the systems. I think it's dangerous when we give everything away and then we don't have the basic underpinning of the history and the infrastructure, knowledge of, because what if we don't want to renew this contract and they have all of our stuff? What if the company goes bankrupt? And I think we need to be careful not to assume, not to have the mindset that this stuff is gone, we don't need it anymore. I mean, I see stuff going out the door and I'm like, no, we want to keep that here. We need those records that Darlene had and all that stuff that was in place. We need to keep that. Somebody needs to have a working knowledge of this stuff. Or else one day we're gonna go to get it back, or this company's gonna be bankrupt and we're gonna be.
I think it's something that you should take another look at.
I think we should at least make sure, my standpoint, I believe that we should keep vital records close to home.
Okay. Anybody else?
Has the new town manager reached a probationary period yet?
We're past it.
You did get past it?
The contract was for 1 year, right?
Yes.
Just for the record, I've heard many complaints about it. I'll settle at that, because I don't want to get to a personnel matter.
Okay, see, anybody else? Board comments? Scott? Pat?
Pass right now.
Bob?
Nothing.
Nope. Okay, next meeting will be February 10th, 5:30, and then February 24th at 5:30.